Chapter 35. Catherine went along the lake to the little hotel to see Ferguson, and I sat in the bar and read the papers. There were comfortable leather chairs in the bar, and I sat in one of them and read until the barman came in. The army had not stood at the Tagliamento. They were falling back to the Piave. I remembered the Piave. The railroad crossed it near Sandona, going up to the front. It was deep and slow there, and quite narrow. Down below, there were mosquito marshes and canals. There were some lovely villas. Once, before the war, going up to Cortina d'Ampezzo, I had gone along it for several hours in the hills. Up there, it looked like a trout stream, flowing swiftly with shallow stretches and pools under the shadows of the rocks. The road turned off from it at Cadore. I wondered how the army that was up there would come down. The barman came in. "Count Greffy was asking for you," he said. "Who?" "Count Greffy. You remember the old man who was here when you were here before?" "Is he here?" "Yes, he's here with his niece. I told him you were here. He wants you to play billiards." "Where is he?" "He's taking a walk." "How is he?" "He's younger than ever. He drank 3 champagne cocktails last night before dinner." "How's his billiard game?" "Good. He beat me. When I told him you were here, he was very pleased. There's nobody here for him to play with." Count Greffy was 94 years old. He had been a contemporary of Metternich and was an old man with white hair and mustache and beautiful manners. He had been in the diplomatic service of both Austria and Italy, and his birthday parties were the great social event of Milan. He was living to be 100 years old and played a smoothly fluent game of billiards that contrasted with his own 94-year-old brittleness. I had met him when I had been at Stresa once before out of season, and while we played billiards, we drank champagne. I thought it was a splendid custom, and he gave me 15 points in 100 and beat me. "Why didn't you tell me he was here?" "I forgot it." "Who else is here?" "No one you know. There are only 6 people altogether." "What are you doing now?" "Nothing." "Come on out fishing." "I could come for an hour." "Come on, bring the trolling line." The barman put on a coat and we went out. We went down and got a boat, and I rowed while the barman sat in the stern and let out the line with a spinner and a heavy sinker on the end to troll for lake trout. We rowed along the shore, the barman holding the line in his hand and giving it occasional jerks forward. Stresa looked very deserted from the lake. There were the long rows of bare trees, the big hotels and the closed villas. I rowed across Isola Bella and went close to the walls, where the water deepened sharply, and you saw the rock wall slanting down in the clear water, and then up and along to the fisherman's island. The sun was under a cloud, and the water was dark and smooth and very cold. We did not have a strike, though we saw some circles on the water from rising fish. I rowed up opposite the fisherman's island, where there were boats drawn up and men were mending nets. "Should we get a drink?" "All right." I brought the boat up to the stone pier, and the barman pulled in the line, coiling it on the bottom of the boat and hooking the spinner on the edge of the gunwale. I stepped out and tied the boat. We went into a little cafe, sat at a bare wooden table, and ordered vermouth. "Are you tired from rowing?" "No." "I'll row back," he said. "I like to row." "Maybe if you hold the line, it will change the luck." "All right." "Tell me, how goes the war?" "Rotten. I don't have to go. I'm too old, like Count Greffy. Maybe you'll have to go yet. Next year, they'll call my class. But I won't go." "What will you do?" "Get out of the country." "I wouldn't go to war. I was at the war once in Abyssinia." "Nix. Why do you go?" "I don't know. I was a fool. Have another vermouth?" "All right." The barman rowed back. We trolled up the lake beyond Stresa, and then down not far from shore. I held the taut line and felt the faint pulsing of the spinner revolving, while I looked at the dark November water of the lake and the deserted shore. The barman rowed with long strokes, and on the forward thrust of the boat the line throbbed. Once I had a strike. The line hardened suddenly and jerked back. I pulled and felt the live weight of the trout, and then the line throbbed again. I had missed him. "Did he feel big?" "Pretty big." Once when I was out trolling alone, I had the line in my teeth, and one struck and nearly took my mouth out. The best way is to have it over your leg, I said. Then you feel it and don't lose your teeth. I put my hand in the water. It was very cold. We were almost opposite the hotel now. I have to go in, the barman said. To be there for 11 o'clock. L'heure du cocktail. All right. I pulled in the line and wrapped it on a stick notched at each end. The barman put the boat in a little slip in the stone wall and locked it with a chain and padlock. Any time you want it, he said, I'll give you the key. Thanks. We went up to the hotel and into the bar. I did not want another drink so early in the morning, so I went up to our room. The maid had just finished doing the room, and Catherine was not back yet. I lay down on the bed and tried to keep from thinking. When Catherine came back, it was all right again. Ferguson was downstairs, she said. She was coming to lunch. I knew you wouldn't mind, Catherine said. No, I said. What's the matter, darling? I don't know. I know. You haven't anything to do. All you have is me, and I go away. That's true. I'm sorry, darling. I know it must be dreadful feeling to have nothing at all suddenly. My life used to be full of everything, I said. Now, if you aren't with me, I haven't a thing in the world. But I'll be with you. I was only gone for 2 hours. Isn't there anything you can do? I went fishing with the barman. Wasn't it fun? Yes, don't think about me when I'm not here. That's the way I worked it at the front, but there was something to do then. Othello with his occupation gone, she teased. Othello was a nigger, I said. Besides, I'm not jealous. I'm just so in love with you that there isn't anything else. Will you be a good boy and be nice to Ferguson? I'm always nice to Ferguson, unless she curses me. Be nice to her. Think how much we have, and she hasn't anything. I don't think she wants what we have. You don't know much, darling, for such a wise boy. I'll be nice to her. I know you will. You're so sweet. She won't stay afterward, will she? No, I'll get rid of her. And then we'll come up here. Of course. What do you think I want to do? We went downstairs to have lunch with Ferguson. She was very impressed by the hotel and the splendor of the dining room. We had a good lunch with a couple of bottles of white Capri. Count Greffy came into the dining room and bowed to us. His niece, who looked a little like my grandmother, was with him. I told Catherine and Ferguson about him, and Ferguson was very impressed. The hotel was very big and grand and empty, but the food was good, the wine was very pleasant, and finally the wine made us all feel very well. Catherine had no need to feel any better. She was very happy. Ferguson became quite cheerful. I felt very well myself. After lunch, Ferguson went back to her hotel. She was going to lie down for a while after lunch, she said. Along late in the afternoon, someone knocks on our door. Who is it? The Count Greffy wishes to know if you will play billiards with him. I looked at my watch. I had taken it off and it was under the pillow. Do you have to go, darling? Catherine whispered. I think I'd better. The watch was 4:15 o'clock. Out loud, I said, Tell the Count Greffy I will be in the billiard room at 5 o'clock. At 5:15, I kissed Catherine goodbye and went into the bathroom to dress. Knotting my tie and looking in the glass, I looked strange to myself in the civilian clothes. I must remember to buy some more shirts and socks. Will you be away a long time? Catherine asked. She looked lovely in the bed. Would you hand me the brush? I watched her brushing her hair, holding her head so the weight of her hair all came on one side. It was dark outside, and the light over the head of the bed shone on her hair and on her neck and shoulders. I went over and kissed her, and held her hand with the brush and her head sunk back on the pillow. I kissed her neck and shoulders. I felt faint with loving her so much. I don't want to go away. I don't want you to go away. I won't go then. Yes, go. It's only for a little while, and then you'll come back. We'll have dinner up here. Hurry and come back. I found the Count Greffy in the billiard room. He was practicing strokes, looking very fragile under the light that came down above the billiard table. On a card table, a little way beyond the light, was a silver icing bucket with the necks and corks of 2 champagne bottles showing above the ice. The Count Greffy straightened up when I came toward the table and walked toward me. He put out his hand. "It is such a great pleasure that you are here. You are very kind to come to play with me. It was very nice of you to ask me. Are you quite well? They told me you were wounded on the Isonzo. I hope you are well again." "I'm very well. Have you been well?" "Oh, I am always well. But I'm getting old. I detect signs of age now. I can't believe it. Yes. Do you want to know what? It is easier for me to talk Italian. I discipline myself, but I find when I'm tired that it is so much easier to talk Italian. So I know I must be getting old." "We could talk Italian. I'm a little tired too." "Oh, but when you are tired, it'll be easier for you to talk English. American." "Yes, American. Will you please talk American? It is a delightful language." "I hardly ever see Americans. You must miss them. One misses one's countrymen, and especially one's countrywomen. I know that experience. Should we play, or are you too tired?" "I'm not really tired. I said that for a joke. What handicap will you give me? Have you been playing very much?" "None at all." "You play very well. 10 points in 100? "You flatter me." 15? "That would be fine, but you will beat me." "Should we play for a stake? You always wish to play for a stake." "I think we'd better." "All right. I'll give you 18 points, and we will play for a franc a point." He played a lovely game of billiards, and with the handicap I was only 4 ahead at 50. Count Greffy pushed a button on the wall to ring for the barman. "Open 1 bottle, please," he said. Then to me, "We will take a little stimulant." The wine was icy cold and very dry and good. "Should we talk Italian? Would you mind very much? It is my great weakness now." We went on playing, sipping the wine between shots, speaking in Italian, but talking little, concentrated on the game. Count Greffy made his 100th point, and with the handicap I was only at 94. He smiled and patted me on the shoulder. "Now we will drink the other bottle, and you will tell me about the war." He waited for me to sit down. "About anything else," I said. "You don't want to talk about it?" "Good. What have you been reading?" "Nothing," I said. "I'm afraid I am very dull." "No, but you should read." "What is there written in wartime?" "There is Le Feu by a Frenchman, Barbus. There is Mr. Britning Sees Through It." "No, he doesn't." "What?" "He doesn't see through it. Those books were at the hospital. Then you have been reading?" "Yes, but nothing any good." "I thought Mr. Britning was a very good study of the English middle-class soul." "I don't know about the soul." "Poor boy. We none of us know about the soul. Are you croyant?" "At night." Count Greffy smiled and turned the glass with his fingers. "I had expected to become more devout as I grow older, but somehow I haven't," he said. "It is a great pity." "Would you like to live after death?" I asked, and instantly felt a fool to mention death. But he did not mind the word. "It would depend on the life. This life is very pleasant. I would like to live forever." He smiled. "I very nearly have." We were sitting in the deep leather chairs, the champagne in the ice bucket, and our glasses on the table between us. "If you ever live to be as old as I am, you will find many things strange. You never seem old. It is the body that is old. Sometimes I am afraid I will break off a finger as one breaks a stick of chalk, and the spirit is no older and not much wiser." "You are wise." "No, that is the great fallacy, the wisdom of the old men. They do not grow wise, they grow careful." "Perhaps that is wisdom. It is a very unattractive wisdom." "What do you value most?" "Someone I love." "With me it is the same." "That is not wisdom." "Do you value life?" "Yes." "So do I, because it is all I have. And to give birthday parties." He laughed. "You are probably wiser than I am. You do not give birthday parties." We both drank the wine. "What do you think of the war, really?" I asked. "I think it is stupid." "Who will win it?" "Italy." "Why?" "They are a younger nation. Do younger nations always win wars?" "They are apt to for a time. Then what happens?" "They become older nations." "You said you were not wise. Dear boy, that is not wisdom. That is cynicism." "It sounds very wise to me." "It's not particularly. I could quote you the examples on the other side, but it is not bad. Have we finished the champagne?" "Almost." "Should we drink some more? Then I must dress." "Perhaps we'd better not now. You are sure you don't want more?" "Yes." He stood up. "I hope you'll be very fortunate and very happy and very, very healthy. Thank you. And I hope you will live forever." "Thank you. I have. And if you ever become devout, pray for me if I am dead. I am asking several of my friends to do that. I had expected to become devout myself, but it has not come." I thought he smiled sadly, but I could not tell. He was so old, and his face was very wrinkled, so that a smile used so many lines that all gradations were lost. "I might become very devout," I said. "Anyway, I will pray for you." I had always expected to become devout. All my family died very devout, but somehow it does not come. It's too early. Maybe it is too late. Perhaps I have outlived my religious feeling. My own comes only at night. Then, too, you are in love. Do not forget that is a religious feeling. You believe so? Of course. He took a step toward the table. You were very kind to play. It was a great pleasure. We will walk upstairs together. End of chapter 35. Chapter 36. That night there was a storm, and I woke to hear the rain lashing the window panes. It was coming in the open window. Someone had knocked on the door. I went to the door very softly, not to disturb Catherine, and opened it. The barman stood there. He wore his overcoat and carried his wet hat. "Can I speak to you, Tenente?" "What's the matter?" "It's a very serious matter." I looked around. The room was dark. I saw the water on the floor from the window. "Come in," I said. I took him by the arm into the bathroom, locked the door, and put on the light. I sat down on the edge of the bathtub. "What's the matter, Emilio? Are you in trouble?" "No, you are, Tenente." "Yes." "They are going to arrest you in the morning." "Yes." "I came to tell you. I was out in the town, and I heard them talking in a cafe." "I see." He stood there, his coat wet, holding his wet hat, and said nothing. "Why are they going to arrest me?" "For something about the war. Do you know what?" "No, but I know that they know you were here before as an officer, and now you are here out of uniform. After this retreat, they arrest everybody." I thought a minute. "What time do they come to arrest me?" "In the morning. I don't know the time. What do you say to do?" He put his hat in the wash bowl. It was very wet and had been dripping on the floor. If you have nothing to fear, an arrest is nothing. But it is always bad to be arrested, especially now. I don't want to be arrested. "Then go to Switzerland." "How?" "In my boat." "There is a storm," I said. "The storm is over. It is rough, but you will be all right." "When should we go?" "Right away. They might come to arrest you early in the morning." "What about our bags?" "Get them packed. Get your lady dressed. I will take care of them." "Where will you be?" "I will wait here. I don't want anyone to see me outside in the hall." I opened the door, closed it, and went into the bedroom. Catherine was awake. "What is it, darling?" "It's all right, Cat," I said. "Would you like to get dressed right away and go in a boat to Switzerland? Would you?" "No," I said. "I'd like to go back to bed." "What is it about?" "The barman says they're going to arrest me in the morning." "Is the barman crazy?" "No." "Then please hurry, darling, and get dressed so we can start." She sat up on the side of the bed. She was still sleepy. "Is that the barman in the bathroom?" "Yes." "Then I won't wash. Please look the other way, darling, and I'll be dressed in just a minute." I saw her white back as she took off her nightgown, and then I looked away because she wanted me to. She was beginning to be a little big with the child, and she did not want me to see her. I dressed hearing the rain on the windows. I did not have much to put in my bag. There's plenty of room in my bag, Cat, if you need any. I'm almost packed, she said. Darling, I'm awfully stupid, but why is the barman in the bathroom? Shh, he's waiting to take our bags down. He's awfully nice. He's an old friend, I said. I nearly sent him some pipe tobacco once. I looked out the open window at the dark night. I could not see the lake, only the dark and the rain, but the wind was quieter. I'm ready, darling, Catherine said. All right. I went to the bathroom door. Here are the bags, Emilio, I said. The barman took the 2 bags. You are very good to help us, Catherine said. That's nothing, lady, the barman said. I'm glad to help you, just so I don't get in trouble myself. Listen, he said to me. I'll take these out the servants' stairs and to the boat. You just go out as though you were going for a walk. It's a lovely night for a walk, Catherine said. It's a bad night, all right. I'm glad I've an umbrella, Catherine said. We walked down the hall and down the wide, thickly carpeted stairs. At the foot of the stairs, by the door, the porter sat behind his desk. He looked surprised at seeing us. You are not going out, sir, he said. Yes, I said. We're going to see the storm along the lake. Haven't you got an umbrella, sir? No, I said. This coat sheds water. He looked at it doubtfully. I'll get you an umbrella, sir, he said. He went away and came back with a big umbrella. It's a little big, sir, he said. I gave him a 10-lira note. Oh, you are too good, sir. Thank you very much, he said. He held the door open, and we went out into the rain. He smiled at Catherine, and she smiled at him. Don't stay out in the storm, he said. You will get wet, sir and lady. He was only the second porter, and his English was still literally translated. We'll be back, I said. We walked down the path under the giant umbrella and out through the dark, wet gardens to the road, and across the road to the trellised pathway along the lake. The wind was blowing offshore now. It was a cold, wet November wind, and I knew it was snowing in the mountains. We came along past the chained boats in the slips along the quay to where the barman's boat should be. The water was dark against the stone. The barman stepped out from beside the row of trees. The bags are in the boat, he said. I want to pay you for the boat, I said. How much money have you? Not so much. You send me the money later. That will be all right. How much? What do you want? Tell me how much. If you get through, send me 500 francs. You won't mind that if you get through. All right. Here are sandwiches. He handed me a package. Everything there was in the bar. It's all here. This is a bottle of brandy and a bottle of wine. I put them in my bag. Let me pay you for those. All right, give me 50 lira. I gave it to him. The brandy is good, he said. You don't need to be afraid to give it to your lady. She better get in the boat. He held the boat, it rising and falling against the stone wall, and I helped Catherine in. She sat in the stern and pulled her cape around her. You know where to go? Up the lake. You know how far? Past Luino. Past Luino, Canero, Conobio, Tranzano. You aren't in Switzerland until you come to Brizzago. You have to pass Monte Tamara. What time is it? Catherine asked. It's only 11 o'clock, I said. If you row all the time, you ought to be there by 7 o'clock in the morning. Is it that far? It's 35 kilometers. How should we go? In this rain, we need a compass. No, row to Isola Bella. Then, on the other side of Isola Madre, go with the wind. The wind will take you to Palanza. You will see the lights. Then go up the shore. Maybe the wind will change. No, he said. This wind will blow like this for 3 days. It comes straight down from the Mataron. There is a can to bail with. Let me pay you something for the boat now. No, I'd rather take a chance. If you get through, you pay me all you can. All right. I don't think you'll get drowned. That's good. Go with the wind up the lake. All right. I stepped into the boat. Did you leave money for the hotel? Yes, in an envelope in the room. All right. Good luck, Tenente. Good luck. We thank you many times. You won't thank me if you get drowned. What does he say? Catherine asked. He says, "Good luck." "Good luck," Catherine said. "Thank you very much. Are you ready?" "Yes." He bent down and shoved us off. I dug at the water with the oars, then waved one hand. The barman waved back deprecatingly. I saw the lights of the hotel and rowed out, rowing straight out until they were out of sight. There was quite a sea running, but we were going with the wind. End of chapter 36. Chapter 37. I rowed in the dark, keeping the wind in my face. The rain had stopped and only came occasionally in gusts. It was very dark, and the wind was cold. I could see Catherine in the stern, but I could not see the water where the blades of the oars dipped. The oars were long, and there were no leathers to keep them from slipping out. I pulled, raised, leaned forward, found the water, dipped and pulled, rowing as easily as I could. I did not feather the oars because the wind was with us. I knew my hands would blister, and I wanted to delay it as long as I could. The boat was light and rowed easily. I pulled it along in the dark water. I could not see, and hoped we would soon come opposite Palanza. We never saw Palanza. The wind was blowing up the lake, and we passed the point that hides Palanza in the dark, and never saw the lights. When we finally saw some lights, much farther up the lake and close to the shore, it was Intra. But for a long time we did not see any lights, nor did we see the shore, but rowed steadily in the dark, riding with the waves. Sometimes I missed the water with the oars in the dark as a wave lifted the boat. It was quite rough. But I kept on rowing, until suddenly we were close ashore against a point of rock that rose beside us, the waves striking against it, rushing high up, then falling back. I pulled hard on the right oar and backed water with the other, and we went out into the lake again. The point was out of sight, and we were going on up the lake. "We're across the lake," I said to Catherine. "Weren't we going to see Palanza? We've missed it." "How are you, darling?" "I'm fine." "I could take the oars a while." "No, I'm fine." "Poor Ferguson," Catherine said. "In the morning, she'll come to the hotel and find we're gone." "I'm not worrying so much about that," I said, "as about getting into the Swiss part of the lake before it's daylight and the custom guards see us." "Is it a long way?" "It's some 30 kilometers from here. I rowed all night." Finally, my hands were so sore I could hardly close them over the oars. We were nearly smashed up on the shore several times. I kept fairly close to the shore because I was afraid of getting lost on the lake and losing time. Sometimes we were so close we could see a row of trees on the road along the shore with the mountains behind. The rain stopped, and the wind drove the clouds so that the moon shone through. And looking back, I could see the long dark point of Castagnola and the lake with whitecaps, and beyond, the moon on the high snow mountains. Then the clouds came over the moon again, and the mountains and the lake were gone, but it was much lighter than it had been before, and we could see the shore. I could see it too clearly, and pulled out where they would not see the boat if there were custom guards along the Palanza road. When the moon came out again, we could see white villas on the shore on the slopes of the mountain and the white road where it showed through the trees. All the time I was rowing. The lake widened, and across it on the shore at the foot of the mountains on the other side, we saw a few lights that should be Luino. I saw a wedge-like gap between the mountains on the other shore, and I thought, that must be Luino. If it was, we were making good time. I pulled in the oars and lay back on the seat. I was very, very tired of rowing. My arms and shoulders and back ached, and my hands were sore. "I could hold the umbrella," Catherine said. "We could sail with that with the wind. Can you steer?" "I think so." "You take this oar and hold it under your arm close to the side of the boat and steer, and I'll hold the umbrella." I went back to the stern and showed her how to hold the oar. I took the big umbrella the porter had given me and sat facing the bow and opened it. It opened with a clap. I held it on both sides, sitting astride the handle hooked over the seat. The wind was full in it, and I felt the boat suck forward while I held as hard as I could to the two edges. It pulled hard. The boat was moving fast. "We are going beautifully," Catherine said. All I could see was umbrella ribs. The umbrella strained and pulled, and I felt us driving along with it. I braced my feet and held back on it. Then suddenly it buckled. I felt a rib snap on my forehead. I tried to grab the top that was bending with the wind, and the whole thing buckled and went inside out, and I was astride the handle of an inside-out ripped umbrella, where I had been holding a wind-filled pulling sail. I unhooked the handle from the seat, laid the umbrella in the bow, and went back to Catherine for the oar. She was laughing. She took my hand and kept on laughing. "What's the matter?" I took the oar. "You look so funny holding that thing." "I suppose so. Don't be cross, darling. It was awfully funny. You looked about 20 feet broad and very affectionate holding the umbrella by the edges." She choked. "I'll row." "Take a rest and a drink. It's a grand night, and we've come a long way." "I have to keep the boat out of the trough of the waves. I'll get you a drink. Then rest a little while, darling." I held the oars up, and we sailed with them. Catherine was opening the bag. She handed me the brandy bottle. I pulled the cork with my pocket knife and took a long drink. It was smooth and hot, and the heat went all through me, and I felt warmed and cheerful. "It's lovely brandy," I said. The moon was under again, but I could see the shore. There seemed to be another point going out a long way ahead into the lake. "Are you warm enough, Cat?" "I'm splendid. I'm a little stiff. Bail out that water, and you can put your feet down." Then I rowed and listened to the oarlocks and the dip and scrape of the bailing tin under the stern seat. "Would you give me the bailer?" I said. "I want a drink." "It's awfully dirty." "That's all right. I'll rinse it." I heard Catherine rinsing it over the side. Then she handed it to me dipped full of water. I was thirsty after the brandy, and the water was icy cold, so cold it made my teeth ache. I looked toward the shore. We were closer to the long point. There were lights in the bay ahead. "Thanks," I said, and handed back the tin pail. "You're ever so welcome," Catherine said. "There's much more if you want it. Don't you want to eat something?" "No. I'll be hungry in a little while. We'll save it till then." "All right." What looked like a point ahead was a long, high headland. I went further out in the lake to pass it. The lake was much narrower now. The moon was out again, and the Guardia di Finanza could have seen our boat black on the water if they had been watching. "How are you, Cat?" I asked. "I'm all right. Where are we?" "I don't think we have more than about 8 miles more." "That's a long way to row, you poor sweet. Aren't you dead?" "No, I'm all right. My hands are sore as all." We went on up the lake. There was a break in the mountains on the right bank, a flattening out with a low shoreline that I thought must be Cannobio. I stayed a long way out because it was from now on that we ran the most danger of meeting Guardia. There was a high dome-capped mountain on the other shore away ahead. I was tired. It was no great distance to row, but when you were out of condition, it had been a long way. I knew I had to pass that mountain and go up the lake at least 5 miles further before we would be in Swiss water. The moon was almost down now, but before it went down, the sky clouded over again, and it was very dark. I stayed well out in the lake, rowing a while, then resting and holding the oar so that the wind struck the blades. "Let me row a while," Catherine said. "I don't think you ought to." "Nonsense. It would be good for me. It would keep me from getting too stiff." "I don't think you should, Cat." "Nonsense. Rowing in moderation is very good for the pregnant lady." "All right, you row a little moderately. I'll go back, then you come up. Hold on to both gunwales when you come up." I sat in the stern with my coat on and the collar turned up and watched Catherine row. She rowed very well, but the oars were too long and bothered her. I opened the bag and ate a couple of sandwiches and took a drink of the brandy. It made everything much better, and I took another drink. "Tell me when you're tired," I said. Then, a little later, "Watch out the oar doesn't pop you in the tummy." "If it did," Catherine said between strokes, "life might be much simpler." I took another drink of the brandy. "How are you going?" "All right. Tell me when you want to stop." "All right." I took another drink of the brandy, then took hold of the 2 gunwales of the boat and moved forward. "No, I'm going beautifully." "Go on back to the stern. I've had a grand rest." For a while, with the brandy, I rowed easily and steadily. Then I began to catch crabs, and soon I was just chopping along again with a thin brown taste of bile from having rowed too hard after the brandy. "Give me a drink of water, will you?" I said. "That's easy," Catherine said. Before daylight, it started to drizzle. The wind was down, or we were protected by mountains that bounded the curve the lake had made. When I knew daylight was coming, I settled down and rowed hard. I did not know where we were, and I wanted to get into the Swiss part of the lake. When it was beginning to be daylight, we were quite close to the shore. I could see the rocky shore and the trees. "What's that?" Catherine said. I rested on the oars and listened. It was a motorboat chugging out on the lake. I pulled close up to the shore and lay quiet. The chugging came closer. Then we saw the motorboat in the rain a little astern of us. There were 4 Guardia di Finanza in the stern, their Alpini hats pulled down, their cape collars turned up, and their carbines slung across their backs. They all looked sleepy so early in the morning. I could see the yellow on their hats and the yellow marks on their cape collars. The motorboat chugged on and out of sight in the rain. I pulled out into the lake. If we were that close to the border, I did not want to be hailed by a sentry along the road. I stayed out where I could just see the shore and rowed on for 3/4 of an hour in the rain. We heard a motorboat once more, but I kept quiet until the noise of the engine went away across the lake. "I think we're in Switzerland, Cat," I said. "Really?" "There's no way to know until we see Swiss troops. Or the Swiss Navy. The Swiss Navy's no joke for us. That last motorboat we heard was probably the Swiss Navy. If we're in Switzerland, let's have a big breakfast. They have wonderful rolls and butter and jam in Switzerland." It was clear daylight now, and a fine rain was falling. The wind was still blowing outside up the lake, and we could see the tops of the whitecaps going away from us and up the lake. I was sure we were in Switzerland now. There were many houses back in the trees from the shore, and up the shore away was a village with stone houses, some villas on the hills, and a church. I had been looking at the road that skirted the shore for guards, but did not see any. The road came quite close to the lake now, and I saw a soldier coming out of a cafe on the road. He wore a gray-green uniform and a helmet like the Germans. He had a healthy-looking face and a little toothbrush mustache. He looked at us. "Wave to him," I said to Catherine. She waved, and the soldier smiled embarrassedly and gave a wave of his hand. I eased up rowing. We were passing the waterfront of the village. "We must be well inside the border," I said. "We want to be sure, darling. We don't want them to turn us back at the frontier." "The frontier is a long way back. I think this is the customs town. I'm pretty sure it's Brazzago. Won't there be Italians there? There are always both sides at a customs town. Not in wartime. I don't think they let the Italians cross the frontier." It was a nice-looking little town. There were many fishing boats along the quay, and nets were spread on racks. There was a fine November rain falling, but it looked cheerful and clean even with the rain. "Should we land then and have breakfast?" "All right." I pulled hard on the left oar and came in close, then straightened out when we were close to the quay and brought the boat alongside. I pulled in the oars, took hold of an iron ring, stepped up on the wet stone, and was in Switzerland. I tied the boat and held my hand down to Catherine. "Come on up, Cat. It's a grand feeling." "What about the bags?" "Leave them in the boat." Catherine stepped up and we were in Switzerland together. "What a lovely country," she said. "Isn't it grand?" "Let's go and have breakfast." "Isn't it a grand country? I love the way it feels under my shoes. I'm so stiff I can't feel it very well, but it feels like a splendid country. Darling, do you realize we're here and out of that bloody place?" "I do. I really do. I've never realized anything before." "Look at the houses. Isn't this a fine square? There's a place we can get breakfast." "Isn't the rain fine? They never had rain like this in Italy. It's cheerful rain." "And we're here, darling. Do you realize we're here?" We went inside the cafe and sat down at a clean wooden table. We were cockeyed excited. A splendid, clean-looking woman with an apron came and asked us what we wanted. "Rolls and jam and coffee," Catherine said. "I'm sorry, we haven't any rolls in wartime. Bread, then." "I can make you some toast." "All right. I want some eggs fried, too." "How many eggs for the gentleman?" "3. "Take 4, darling. 4 eggs." The woman went away. I kissed Catherine and held her hand very tight. We looked at each other and at the cafe. "Darling, darling, isn't it lovely?" "It's grand. I said. I don't mind there not being rolls, Catherine said. I thought about them all night, but I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. I suppose pretty soon they will arrest us. Never mind, darling. We'll have breakfast first. You won't mind being arrested after breakfast. And then there's nothing they can do to us. We're British and American citizens in good standing. You have a passport, haven't you? Of course. Oh, let's not talk about it. Let's be happy. I couldn't be any happier, I said. A fat gray cat with a tail that lifted like a plume crossed the floor to her table and curved against my leg to purr each time she rubbed. I reached down and stroked her. Catherine smiled at me very happily. Here comes the coffee, she said. They arrested us after breakfast. We took a little walk through the village, then went down to the quay to get our bags. A soldier was standing guard over the boat. Is this your boat? Yes. Where do you come from? Up the lake. Then I have to ask you to come with me. How about the bags? You can carry the bags. I carried the bags and Catherine walked beside me, and the soldier walked along behind us to the old custom house. In the custom house, a lieutenant, very thin and military, questioned us. What nationality are you? American and British. Let me see your passports. I gave him mine, and Catherine got hers out of her handbag. He examined them for a long time. Why do you enter Switzerland this way in a boat? I am a sportsman, I said. Rowing is my great sport. I always row when I get a chance. Why do you come here? For the winter sport. We are tourists, and we want to do the winter sport. This is no place for winter sport. We know it. We want to go where they have the winter sport. What have you been doing in Italy? I have been studying architecture. My cousin has been studying art. Why did you leave there? We want to do the winter sport. With the war going on, you cannot study architecture. Will you please stay where you are? The lieutenant said. He went back into the building with our passports. You are splendid, darling, Catherine said. Keep on the same track. You want to do the winter sport. Do you know anything about art? Rubens, said Catherine. Large and fat, I said. Titian, Catherine said. Titian-haired, I said. How about Montaigne? Don't ask hard ones, Catherine said. I know him, though. Very bitter, I said. Lots of nail holes. You see, I'll make you a fine wife, Catherine said. I'll be able to talk art with your customers. Here he comes, I said. The thin lieutenant came down the length of the custom house, holding our passports. I will have to send you into Locarno, he said. You can get a carriage and a soldier will go in with you. All right, I said. What about the boat? The boat is confiscated. What have you in those bags? He went all through the 2 bags and held up the quarter bottle of brandy. Would you join me in a drink? I asked. No, thank you. He straightened up. How much money have you? 2,500 lira. He was favorably impressed. How much has your cousin? Catherine had a little over 1,200 lira. The lieutenant was pleased. His attitude toward us became less haughty. If you're going for winter sports, he said, Wengen is the place. My father has a very fine hotel at Wengen. It is open all the time. That's splendid, I said. Could you give me the name? I'll write it on a card. He handed me the card very politely. The soldier will take you into Locarno. He will keep your passports. I regret this, but it is necessary. I have good hopes they will give you a visa or a police permit at Locarno. He handed the 2 passports to the soldier, and carrying the bags, we started into the village to order a carriage. Hi, the lieutenant called to the soldier. He said something in a German dialect to him. The soldier slung his rifle on his back and picked up the bags. It's a great country, I said to Catherine. It's so practical. Thank you very much, I said to the lieutenant. He waved his hand. Service, he said. We followed our guard into the village. We drove to Locarno in a carriage, with the soldier sitting on the front seat with the driver. At Locarno, we did not have a bad time. They questioned us, but they were polite because we had passports and money. I do not think they believed a word of the story, and I thought it was silly, but it was like a law court. You did not want something reasonable. You wanted something technical and then stuck to it without explanations. But we had passports, and we would spend the money. So they gave us provisional visas. At any time, this visa might be withdrawn. We were to report to the police wherever we went. Could we go wherever we wanted? Yes. Where do we want to go? Where do you want to go, Cat? Montreux. It is a very nice place, the official said. I think you will like that place. Here at Locarno is a very nice place, another official said. I am sure you would like it here very much at Locarno. Locarno is a very attractive place. We would like some place where there is winter sport. There is no winter sport at Montreux. I beg your pardon, the other official said. I come from Montreux. There is very certainly winter sport on the Montreux-Oberdan-Bernois Railway. It would be false for you to deny that. I do not deny it. I simply said there is no winter sport at Montreux. I question that, the other official said. I question that statement. I hold to that statement. I question that statement. I myself have louged into the streets of Montreux. I have done it not once, but several times. Louging is certainly winter sport. The other official turned to me. Is louging your idea of winter sport, sir? I tell you, you would be very comfortable here in Locarno. You would find the climate healthy. You would find the environs attractive. You would like it very much. The gentleman has expressed a wish to go to Montreux. What is louging? I asked. You see, he has never even heard of louging. That meant a great deal to the second official. He was pleased by that. Louging, said the first official, is tobogganing. I beg to differ. The other official shook his head. I must differ again. The toboggan is very different from the luge. The toboggan is constructed in Canada of flat laths. The luge is a common sled with runners. Accuracy means something. Couldn't we toboggan? I asked. Of course you could toboggan, the first official said. You could toboggan very well. Excellent Canadian toboggans are sold in Montreux. Ox Brothers sells toboggans. They import their own toboggans. The second official turned away. Tobogganing, he said, requires a special piste. You could not toboggan into the streets of Montreux. Why are you stopping here? We don't know, I said. We just drove in from Brissago. The carriage is outside. You make no mistake in going to Montreux, the first official said. You will find the climate delightful and beautiful. You will have no distance to go for winter sport. If you really want winter sport, the second official said, you will go to the Engadine or to Murin. I must protest against your being advised to go to Montreux for the winter sport. At Les Avants above Montreux, there is excellent winter sport of every sort. The champion of Montreux glared at his colleague. Gentlemen, I said, I am afraid we must go. My cousin is very tired. We will go tentatively to Montreux. I congratulate you. The first official shook my hand. I believe that you will regret leaving Locarno, the second official said. At any rate, you will report to the police at Montreux. There will be no unpleasantness with the police, the first official assured me. You will find all the inhabitants extremely courteous and friendly. Thank you both very much, I said. We appreciate your advice very much. Goodbye, Catherine said. Thank you both very much. They bowed us to the door, the champion of Locarno a little coldly. We went down the steps and into the carriage. My God, darling, Catherine said, couldn't we have gotten away any sooner? I gave the name of a hotel one of the officials had recommended to the driver. He picked up the reins. You've forgotten the army, Catherine said. The soldier was standing by the carriage. I gave him a 10-lira note. I have no Swiss money yet, I said. He thanked me, saluted, and went off. The carriage started, and we drove to the hotel. How did you happen to pick out Montreux? I asked Catherine. Do you really want to go there? It was the first place I could think of, she said. It's not a bad place. We can find some place up in the mountains. Are you sleepy? I'm asleep right now. Well, get a good sleep. Poor cat, you've had a long, bad night. I had a lovely time, Catherine said, especially when you sailed with the umbrella. Can you realize we're in Switzerland? No, I'm afraid I'll wake up and it won't be true. I am too. It is true, isn't it, darling? I'm not just driving down to the Stazione in Milan to see you off. I hope not. Don't say that. It frightens me. Maybe that's where we're going. I'm so groggy, I don't know, I said. Let me see your hands. I put them out. They were both blistered raw. There's no hole in my side, I said. Don't be sacrilegious. I felt very tired and vague in the head. The exhilaration was all gone. The carriage was going along the street. Poor hands, Catherine said. Don't touch them, I said. By God, I don't know where we are. Where are we going, driver? The driver stopped his horse. To the Hotel Metropole. Don't you want to go there? Yes, I said. It's all right, Cat. It's all right, darling. Don't be upset. We'll get a good sleep and you won't feel groggy tomorrow. I get pretty groggy, I said. It's like a comic opera today. Maybe I'm hungry. You're just tired, darling. You'll be fine. The carriage pulled up before the hotel. Someone came out to take our bags. I feel all right, I said. We were down on the pavement going into the hotel. I know you'll be all right. You're just tired. You've been up a long time. Anyhow, we're here. Yes, we're really here. We followed the boy with the bags into the hotel. End of chapter 37.